Euromaxx Highlights. And here's your host, Anne O'Donnell.
Welcome to Euromaxx Highlights. Thanks for joining us. Well, we've put together the best bits of the week for you. Let's have a look at the top stories coming up. Home Style, the Milan Furniture Fair, shows the latest trends in interior design. Healthy option. More and more people like to eat well during their lunch breaks. And Worlds Apart, a London-based company, is making handmade, high-quality globes. Well, the world's largest furniture and design fair finishes up this weekend. It's showcasing the latest interior design trends and keeping up with what's hot and what's not. It looks like the somber, cool-looking creations are being replaced with what's being dubbed as feminine-looking designs. Let's have a look.
Greige is no longer much in evidence. Instead, bright colors and rounded, sensual forms. Prints, velvet and silk. And flowery shapes. The chaise longue is back, preferably soft and velvety. A mix of graceful shapes and soft upholstery are in vogue at this year's furniture fair in Milan.
It shouldn't be too angular or stiff.
I think there's a trend towards comfortable and cozy.
The look isn't so cool anymore.
It's soft like a mother and gives you a sense of security.
The six-day fair is the most important interior design show in the world for trade visitors. More than 2,000 furniture and lighting manufacturers exhibit here. Being here on the first day is a must for Christina Berg from German Elle Decoration magazine. She's observed a tendency towards more feminine design for some time now, with elements like side tables, velvet and muted shades of blue, and haute couture fabrics.
There are dressing tables all over the place. And you also see mirrors hanging in groups, like here at Gervasoni. Not just one mirror on its own. It's more feminine. It's not quite as masculine and sober as it was. Everything's a bit softer.
Patricia Orchiola is one of the few big female names in the world of design. The seating collection Bold is the name of the Spanish designer's latest creation for Moroso. She disagrees with talk of a trend towards more femininity.
I don't think there's a trend to feminine elements. My femininity expresses itself more in the fact that I can slip into various roles, that I can switch from one object to another without any preconceptions, from sneakers to high heels on the same day.
Moroso is one of the leading Italian fashion labels and is famous for making seating created by international designers. This year, everything is colorful. With its rocking version of Israeli designer Ron Arad's sofa glider, Moroso is right on trend.
We are no longer living in abundance. Times are hard, and the objects have become gentler, quieter, more comfortable.
Paola Navoni's collection for traditional manufacturers Gervasoni plays with red, pink, and pastel shades. But the designer doesn't view these colors as being typically feminine, but simply warm and friendly, like these padded cupboards.
Together with the gray, wood, or neutral colors, pink tones can create an inviting atmosphere.
But in Milan, everyone agrees on one thing. In furniture design, trends don't change too quickly, and many styles can exist alongside one another. Lots of these objects were fashioned by women, toiling anonymously in large design offices. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the finished product has a classically female form.
Often it's just a feeling. You look at something and say, that's more feminine, or that's more masculine. But just like in real life, I think it's good when there's both, and you bring them together. That produces a sense of harmony, hopefully, or a sense of excitement, which is also important in a home.
The show in Milan isn't just about the latest trends. You can also see how a chair is upholstered, a time-consuming traditional process lasting 8 hours. The fair winds up this weekend.
Well, food entrepreneurs are cashing in on hungry professionals in search of food for their midday break. Now, if you're looking for a quick meal at lunchtime and you're not prepared, don't worry. There are a number of companies popping up all over Germany and Britain ready to send those hunger pains packing with nutritious alternatives delivered to your door.
Britain may be the Isle of sandwiches, but it's also the land of upscale lunches. British workers spend an average of €3,500 annually for lunch and snacks, as people hate to eat the same thing all the time.
I bought some smoked salmon and some vegetables.
But today there's more choice. So this is Italian from down the end. It's very good.
I normally eat salad. Yeah, salad with tuna fish or salmon. Pretty pricey, but I don't mind.
It's a beef and vegetable pasty.
People have higher expectations these days of lunch. Leftover lasagna from last night's dinner no longer cuts the mustard. A spate of cookbooks have recently appeared to meet the demand for gourmet lunches and snacks. One is Love Your Lunchbox by James Ramsden. It recommends such delectable recipes as the 3-cheese toastie with spinach and chili jam, or chickpeas with mango chutney. The London-based chef sees a growing demand for such food.
I think people certainly are a lot more conscious about what they eat because they're constantly being told, well, you should eat this way or that way, and I think it can be a bit misleading, but I think broadly speaking it's a good thing that people are thinking more about what they put in their mouths. And so at lunchtime they don't just want to go and mindlessly go down the sandwich shop and buy whatever kind of first appeals to them.
Ramsden snacks have to be tasty and suitable for lunch breaks, like avocado on toast with green onions and lime puree. They have to take no longer than 20 minutes to make and keep in the fridge for at least 3 days. Some of his snacks require one last step just before eating. A few seconds in the toaster, microwave, or electric kettle of the kind found in most office kitchens. Ramsden's idea is to save money and time. Even the most exotic dishes have to be easy to carry and prepare.
As with all the recipes in the book, it's divided into what you can do at home, or what you need to do at home, what you put in your lunchbox, and then what you do at the office to finish it off.
His Asian noodles are a perfect example. Just add the curry paste brought from home to the pre-cooked noodles, add hot water, and enjoy a meal of udon noodles with miso and sesame.
So many friends had already said to me, I'm bored of going to the sandwich shop and having the same sandwich and packet of crisps and a drink, and it's always so expensive.
Anglo-Saxons have their sandwiches and Germans have their dark bread. Over half bring their lunch from home, but here too, lunchtime habits are changing. Many Germans are spending more on food and drink.
I always take bread slices from home and eat them at my desk, unfortunately.
We don't bring anything from home, we go out to eat.
We always get something to go. That's fast.
A study has shown that Germans spend an average of 20 minutes at lunch, and 2/3 of the British even less. Anna Pinder and Naomi Twigden spotted an opportunity here. Their startup, Lunch BXD, delivers such meals as quinoa salad with orange and cabbage right to the desks of London professionals. The meals were co-developed by a nutritional consultant, and the menu changes weekly. They're packed into recyclable lunch boxes. Bicycle couriers deliver them to as many as 150 customers a day. Demand has been growing steadily.
It's a pretty massive market, I think, especially at the moment with the, everyone's very concerned about healthy food and healthy living.
Professionally packed lunch boxes have a tradition in other countries, like India's tiffin boxes and Japan's bento boxes. On the internet, taste is in the eye of the beholder, as Anna and Naomi well know.
We like to try and make them interesting and fun as well for people, so we put in different snacks. So every week we speak to different snack companies. And so like this week we've got the buttons and miso soup. Yeah, so they're really cool. Coconut milk buttons made with raw cacao. So it's kind of like a healthy, fun take on the sort of things you get in a lunchbox when you're younger.
Such designer lunchboxes don't come cheap, but one can rest assured that the veggies are fresh from a London produce market and the herbs from the company's own garden. Healthy eating and quick cuisine are no longer natural enemies.
Well, he's been bringing world-renowned art to Germany for over 50 years. And now, gallery owner and art dealer Hans Meyer is picking up an award for his efforts. He's just received the most prestigious prize recognising his work at the Cologne Art Fair. Well, we spoke to him at this year's event, which is exhibiting some of the biggest names from the world of contemporary art.
Cologne is all about modern art right now. The Art Cologne is the world's oldest art fair. With some 200 exhibitors, it can be overwhelming. But one person in particular is keeping an eye on all the movement at the fair.
The
mood is very focused, like racehorses right before a race. Very focused because it's about money.
Hans Meyer is one of the co-founders of the Art Cologne. It premiered in 1967 as the Cologne Art Market. This year, the 75-year-old is being honored for his effort with the Art Cologne Prize. The art fair has changed greatly over the past 50 years, growing in size and global reach. Things were very different in the early days.
It was very primitive. We were in a smaller hall and everyone had maybe 30 square meters of display space. Everyone just took the pictures off the walls of their galleries and hung them in their space. We had a lot of fun.
Hans Meyer is in the top league of art dealers. He opened his first gallery in 1965 in the southern German town of Esslingen at the age of 25. Theater events and concerts have been a part of his exhibitions from the beginning.
When I had the gallery in Esslingen, the art historians and a lot of museum folks said, for heaven's sake, there's this crazy guy in Esslingen putting on exhibitions with rock music, and the police are always being called in. It was just a revolt against the establishment, including the established art business.
That got the attention of the international art world. In the late 1960s, Hans Meyer moved to Düsseldorf. He was the first gallerist in Germany to show works by Andy Warhol and introduced him to the German action artist Joseph Beuys.
I was putting on an exhibition and I said to Beuys he should come to the opening because Warhol would be there. And he said, why? And I said, you've got a show in New York next year and you'd be happy if he showed up. So that's how they met. And they basically got along really well right from the start.
Meyer brought one important contemporary artist after another to Germany. Keith Haring, for instance, painted a sports car just for him. Meyer likes photography, too. Helmut Newton had his first show with him. And shortly before his death in 2004, his last one, too. Meyer's daughter, Marie, is also now involved in the business. She shares her father's love of art.
I remember very well that Jean Tinguely often visited us, and he had 2 dachshunds that were naughty and loud, and I was really angry with those dogs. Those are the moments I have vivid memories of.
Marie Meyer has also inherited her father's keen eye for new talents, like South African artist Xander Blom, whose pictures are currently on display in the gallery and at Art Cologne. Blom's works cost around 10,000 euros. Artwork that Hans Meyer previously sold for a few thousand marks are now changing hands for several million euros.
You couldn't have predicted that art would reach this price category. If I had known how important Gerhard Richter or Andy Warhol would become, then I'd have filled my cellar with Warhols or Richters or Polkas or whatever. But there's no way to predict that.
There's a huge demand for works by artists like them, but the chance of getting hold of a Richter or Warhol are slim. And that's where another of Meyer's talents comes into play. He knows what his clients want and shows them what he thinks they might like.
Sometimes the clients are a bit taken aback by how well I know them. Today, 10 or 15 people will come and just look at 1 or 2 or 3 pictures.
No one can predict who's going to be the next Andy Warhol or Roy Lichtenstein, but that's what makes Art Cologne so exciting. Alongside the big names, there are lots of little-known artists whose work may one day be worth twice or 3 times what it is now.
Luxury globes make the world go round, or at least they make globe maker Peter Bellaby's world go round, seeing as he is running such a successful globe-making business. Well, his fascination with all things spherical and the need to find a decent birthday present led him to his current career. Now he creates high-quality, handmade globes in his London workshop, and he has customers commissioning his work from all over the world, and his goods don't come cheap.
Globes are something that you grow up with. You have them at school, you kind of have them in geography. I've always had a fascination. I did geography and physics at A-level, so I've always been into the world around us.
Planet Earth is Peter Bellaby's world. He's been making handmade globes in his London studio for about 7 years. It all started when he was looking for a birthday present for his father.
So I looked around and all I could find were plastic globes which were functional but not very pretty, and lots of antique globes as well at auctions. I went to several auctions and watched globes that were this diameter selling for tens of thousands of pounds. So I came up with the idea of making one myself.
Problem number 1 was the map material. It was available for purchase as a digital dataset, but was often imprecise or simply wrong. Bellaby had to painstakingly correct it. Problem 2, moistening and mounting the flat paper on a sphere and making it match with the corresponding edge. 200 globes leave Bellaby's workshop in London each year, all handmade and hand-painted. Colorist Isis Linguanotto paints up to 5 layers of watercolors on them.
We do a lot of painting beforehand, so if you have like all the panels that form the globe, they all have to be exactly the same color. And the other difficult thing is when we paint afterwards, you're painting in a circle, so it's watercolor, it's water-based, and drips just run all over the place.
Craftsmanship has its price. Small globes sell for €1,200 and up. The larger ones start at €4,500 and can cost up to €64,000. Celestial globes showing the stars and constellations are even more work than globes of the Earth. This one is for a London businessman. The art of making globes dates back some 500 years, and maybe it's no coincidence that it's undergoing a revival here in London. The zero meridian that runs through the Royal Observatory in Greenwich divides the world into Western and Eastern hemispheres. For Britain, a seafaring nation, accurate maps and globes were crucial. The National Maritime Museum houses one of the biggest and most valuable collections of globes in the world. 350 historical globes are stored on dark shelves sheltered from damaging sunlight. Occasionally, they leave these confines to be shown in exhibitions. Curator Richard Dunn shows up the collection's most valuable piece, the Mercator Globe of 1541.
This is a tremendously important globe. Gerard Mercator is obviously this giant of cartography. This globe kind of sets the standard for globe production in the 16th century that's followed thereafter. It also helps enormously our understanding of the histories of exploration and navigation in the 16th century and how people understood the world.
It's a special day for David Yates. The businessman ordered a celestial globe as well as an earthly one. He wants them as accessories in his living room.
I've been looking around on the internet for a globe, and actually I'd been looking for years and years, and eventually I discovered that Peter was making them. I was absolutely smitten with the idea because, you know, the ability to construct something as personal as this and as beautiful as this, I thought was great. I just see it as a great piece of art.
With Google Maps and GPS, you might say no one needs a globe anymore. But Peter Bellaby disagrees.
Google Maps and digital mapping is amazing. I use them every day. It's fantastic to get from A to B. It really helps you do that. But a globe will inspire you to get from A to B, to want to get from A to B, because you can see the world in entirety.
Well, Euromaxx had their passport out again. This time the team headed to the city that's synonymous with love, fashion and art. Paris attracts millions of visitors every year, so it's no surprise that the French capital is the home of the most visited art museums in the world. There is plenty of sightseeing to do as well.
To get the lowdown on Paris, how about a trip down the Seine, past the Palais Bourbon, taking in the Louvre and the Musée d'Orsay, among the many other historic sites. The Ile de la Cité, the island boasting Notre Dame Cathedral, and the Eiffel Tower.
My favorite were the architecture of all the different bridges.
The sheer size of Paris is impressive.
I find it a very emotional experience. There's so much history in these buildings. The best part was the bells of Notre Dame.
The masterpiece of Gothic architecture in the heart of Paris is the city's top attraction, beating even the Eiffel Tower. The cathedral draws over 13 million visitors a year.
The most impressive thing is being here in the middle of all the noise of Paris and feeling this inner peace and inner silence.
And Paris just wouldn't be the same without the bouquinistes. Some of the vendors lining the banks of the Seine have been selling their antique books, postcards, and engravings here for decades. Books in general might be harder to sell these days, but this bouquiniste loves his job.
Because I'm all alone, and it's all up to me, and it doesn't feel like work.
Julia Polak likes the more colorful but less touristy areas in the north of the city. The German-French artist finds no shortage of ideas here, especially at the fish market.
The fish and all the colors give me inspiration for my work. All the different patterns the fish have. And I like the atmosphere here.
The fish motif, in reality and in the art of Julia Polak. She's a frequent visitor to Montmartre. The highest hill in the city is teeming with artists and tourists. Sacré-Cœur Church sits majestically overlooking the city below. By law, no more than 2 artists per square meter are allowed on the Place du Théâtre nearby.
The history of Montmartre includes Picasso and Salvador Dali. They worked at the Bateau Lavoir studio. It's not far from here. Ever since then, artists have been coming here to work and live.
We then take in the Place de l'Étoile with the Arc de Triomphe and the Champs-Élysées before hitting the ultra-swish Avenue Montaigne. It's brimming with luxury fashion labels and tourists. For a classic taste of Paris, sample the macarons, available in all manner of colors and flavors. Brasseries are a relaxing option for winding down in the evening. The Grand Colbert is a typical example. Later in the evening, oysters and lobster are especially popular.
We like the atmosphere and the ambiance, and it's very nice here, and you get good food.
The nights are long in Paris. Just down the hill from Montmartre, you can't miss the Moulin Rouge. the legendary cabaret theatre offers a flashy finale to any Paris sojourn.
That's all we have time for today. If you want Euromaxx to visit a city of your choice, then visit us on the Euromaxx website and look up our Extra Tour series for all the details. Thanks for tuning in. We will be back next week with more on arts, culture and lifestyle news for you. And I'll see you then. Bye-bye.